All right, Tom Moreland, the new athletic director at the University of Toledo. Welcome to Corvette Conversations. My goal here is we're going to go give you like the ultimate tour of Toledo. I don't know how much you've gotten around yet. I know you've been out around a little bit.
Been around a ton.
Yeah, and that's good. I love it. It feels like I've seen you at events and you're out shaking hands and meeting everybody. What was your first order of business when you got this job?
Just really getting to know our coaches, the university, the community. It's sometimes like cliche coach speak or admin speak, but it's relationships, right? And so I'm a lifelong Midwesterner. So grew up in Milwaukee, lived in Iowa, played baseball at Iowa, worked at Purdue, so living in Indiana there, and then last 3 years at Illinois. But being a Midwesterner, like we care about people. Sure. Like we're in this together. My wife is also a Midwesterner. She grew up in the Twin Cities and moved to Iowa before high school. And so it was like, Midwest values, build relationships, be authentic, be sincere. Can't be enough places, but what's great about it is just like our people are awesome. They care deeply about the university, our programs, this community. There's a sense of pride, and people should be proud of it. It is a great place to live.
It really is, and I don't think people understand, like from the outside, how cool of a city and how many great things we have going on here in Northwest Ohio. What did you know about Toledo before you took the job? Yeah,
so I'm from Milwaukee originally, like I said. And so I think there's a lot of comparisons there. It's one of those communities where maybe outsiders don't understand it. Growing up, like, I'm really proud to be from Milwaukee originally. Now I'm really proud to be from Toledo. Like, Toledo's home for us. And so definitely that sense of pride. I knew the stat on, most restaurants per capita.
Yeah.
For someone that's always lived in college towns, to have that, like, I don't take that for granted. Like, I love it, so have a lot of fun at those and take out my wife. And so incredible sports fans that we have in Northwest Ohio, right between us, the Hens, the Walleye. You have other really good college sports programs. I think some people think, oh gosh, it's really competitive, it's gonna be really hard. I don't view it that way. We have a market. People are interested in it. People love sports. People love intercollegiate athletics. So it's my job to engage with those people, to build relationships. I can't be out of the office enough. And so I'm doing that, but we're also investing in our staff and our engagement staff to making sure that we're being out of the office and building relationships, doing things like this.
We're gonna bounce around a little bit, asking about the job, your personal life, and all those things. Yeah. But I also there's questions that people, I think, Rocket fans want to know about. One of them is we're on Parkside. We're heading towards Scott Park right now. I'm sure you have been asked about this already.
Oh yeah.
What is the latest with getting the baseball and softball programs onto campus directly, and kind of what's the latest with all of that?
Yeah, having a lot of really important, meaningful conversations. Having conversations with our president, Dr. James Holloway, who is awesome, by the way. Yeah. James is world class. I've had the opportunity to work with great presidents and chancellors, and James is absolutely number one. And so we talk about it on a regular basis. And so for baseball and softball, it's getting those teams and programs back onto our campus and for their student athlete experience. And so when you think about their student athlete experience, they're going from Savage Arena, they're going to the training room, they're going all the way out to Scott Park, they're going to academics, they're going to their dorm, they're going to apartment. I just listed off 7 or 8 different things. Pretty challenging. But then also for all of our students, now having another event to go to in the spring, I think is a really good thing. And with baseball and softball, they play a ton of games. Between the two, that's 60 home events. And so it's great for all of our students, it's great for our community. But also, I think a step further, Rob Reinstedt, our head baseball coach, he does a great thing in the summer. He works with a few different organizations. We're nearly, 5,000 young people and their families, so call about 8,000 people. They go to Scott Park every summer, which is really cool. But they don't come to our campus. And so we need them back on our campus, but then also to build out how are we doing camps, clinics, tournaments. I think it's a very real thing, bringing that on campus. We could have, throughout a whole summertime period, 25,000 people getting to see the University of Toledo.
So what's the next step then? How do you, and I know there's also, let's use this opportunity to bring up I think it's the Champions Club?
Champions Complex.
Champions Complex, that you guys are building hope to build on campus.
Yep.
Right near the football stadium.
Yeah, not hope, we will.
We will.
We will.
Will. I like it.
Yeah.
I know that is a priority for you right now. Brian Blair had introduced that, and that is now a priority for you. Is that all kind of intertwined, all of those things, or do they have to be separate steps?
There's a lot of different ways you could do it. Through the fundraising component, the financing piece of it, the construction piece of it. You know, if you have one general contractor and all the subcontractors working on Champions Complex, baseball and softball together, there's some significant savings there. And so we could connect all of them. We could do Champions Complex first and then do baseball and softball. And so we're having really detailed conversations about those. There's a lot of layers to them, details, complexity, working with our board. And so we have those conversations on a regular basis. I had them this morning, I had them yesterday. Champions Complex is a transformational project, transformational.
And explain to people what that is.
So the Champions Complex will impact all 17 of our sports, all 400 student athletes. And what that does is it centralizes all of our nutrition. So we'll have a dining hall for our student athletes, all of our academics, student athlete support services, student athlete development, sports medicine, and then some additional training areas, all under one roof. What's great about the project is also the footprint and the location. Some other universities have done this, but they put this facility, 8 blocks away from where all the student athletes are. Ours is right next to the Glass Bowl, right next to the football complex, right next to Savage Arena. And so it's a great spot for our student athletes. It also creates a sense of community where they're around each other together, which they all really enjoy. Another piece, and there's probably 2 things I would touch on. One, we're taking the old health ed building. We're not rebuilding a whole new building. It is very financially efficient, which that should resonate with our community, our fan base, and donor base. Now, because we're doing a renovation, we're not skimping on anything. We're fortunate that the health ed building, it's probably 80,000 square feet. It's a very significant building. But the other thing that's really important with this is the sequencing, the order of projects. And for us, investing in the Champions Complex, that's directly going to impact the types of recruits we have, the caliber of student athlete, the retention, the development of the student athlete, and that's how they're going to impact and compete for championships on the field and on the court. The next step then you look at venues. Some people go venues first and then performance. You can have the greatest stadium in the world. If we're not winning, okay, right? Yeah. I'm probably not going to be here very long. Yeah. And so it's Champions Complex first.
I love it. The interesting part of your story coming to Toledo is you were in the running for this job before you got it. Yep. And a couple years back when you tried for it, what made you re-go at this thing? Like, what made you want to attack this thing and say, I want that job again?
Yeah, I look at opportunities kind of like holistically. We were looking for the type of opportunity that we could retire. And that's absolutely the case here at the University of Toledo. Dr. Holloway is also a big piece of it. He's an incredible person. When I got to know him, my excitement only really grew. And so you think about the community, you think about the leadership we have here, but then also, like we touched on earlier, the types of fans, the tradition. I say this a lot, and some people maybe kind of don't take me seriously, but we got 17 sports here. We can compete for a conference championship every single year in every sport. Will we do it every year? Absolutely not. You look at last year, we had 5 sports on the verge of winning a conference championship. That's really unique. And so, some people, they say like, well, they didn't give you the last time. I can't believe you did it. The only reason I wouldn't have done it is just like ego. Yeah. And when I preach to our student athletes, like, put your ego aside, put your feelings aside. So when you couple it all together, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when you take over a job like this, how do you go about balancing meeting with people in the community, meeting with your coaches, meeting with student athletes, doing all of these things right away to get this thing going? How difficult of a job is that to get going right away?
Yeah. First, I have an incredible wife. Yeah. And so my wife and kids just got here 2 weeks ago. And so when you step into an opportunity like this, which you're grateful for, and you understand, you're you're a steward of this athletics department, you're a steward of the university. It's a lot of hours and a lot of time, but with my wife and kids not being here, I could go from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that's fine. It's what I've signed up for, and I love it. You have to have a plan, which I've had, and so that's really getting to understand all of our head coaches, the priorities for our student athletes, the priorities for this university, and then building relationships with our fan base and donor base. And so I'll come up on 100 days here, probably the next week or so. I'll provide a full assessment on where we are as an athletics department. Dr. Holloway and the President's Cabinet, the board, they will share a strategic plan here this fall. Athletics will align with that strategic plan, our strategic priorities. The approach we will take with our strategic plan is it will be concise, it'll have substance, and it'll have an action plan. Where if you asked any of our fans, call it this time next year, if we hop in the Corvette, they'll know what the priorities are. And so that's the approach, is really going through those 100 days. It's a lot of volume, but it's absolutely worth it. I'm not the type of person, my wife tells this to me a lot, I'm not very patient, right? I'm not going to do like the 12-month listening tour. Like I've done that for about 90 days now, and now we're moving forward.
Okay, so we're approaching, and I always tell people about all the great things we've got going on here in Toledo. The Toledo Zoo is one of the focal points of our city. It's awesome. Have you been to the zoo yet?
Not yet. Going to go not this weekend, but next weekend. Got my membership application.
Nice.
Right? So we got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. We're going to be there a lot. Met with Shayla Moriarty, who's awesome. It's a sense of pride for this community, and it absolutely should be. The way Shayla and the leadership team there, the way they program the zoo, it's obviously certainly a world-class zoo, but all the events around it, things like Zoo to Do and those types of things, it's remarkable. They do a world-class job.
Yeah, and Lights Before Christmas, you're going to see people in Toledo live for the Lights Before Christmas, okay? It is it's like an institution. It's one of the coolest things, and your kids will absolutely love it. There's so many different things, and so there's things throughout the year at the zoo, and I tell people all the time, I've been to other zoos, and it's as good as it gets in the country. People don't even realize we've got this gem here in Northwest Ohio. It's sitting in our backyard. I think we take it for granted because we drive past it down the trail all the time. You don't even realize how good of a thing we've got here. It's incredible.
But moving here, people talk about we have a lot of good schools here. Talk about the metro parks. Talk about the zoo. We've talked about the restaurants, and so it's a sense of pride. It should be. Look, coming up on this and seeing this massive bridge, you see a zoo like this and you're like, that's big time. And it is. And so in Northwest Ohio, or talking to Shayla, there's a ton of people in the Michigan area, Detroit area, from their membership, which is extensive. They make the trip down here all the time. So it's something we should really be proud of.
Yeah, it's very cool. And the museum as well is a world-class art museum we've got here in Toledo. We're heading down to Promenade Park right now. I'm gonna take you down to Promenade Park. We're gonna out walk a little bit, and just even the Maumee River is such an incredible asset we've got. We've got a world-class fishery that people come from all over the United States to fish the walleye run every single year. I don't know, do you fish at all?
So I'm from Wisconsin, and everybody hunts and fishes from Wisconsin. I've gone a little bit. I'm kind of embarrassed. I should be like a really good fisherman.
Yeah, you're from Wisconsin.
I should be, or a hunter. I would love to. I've told that to a few folks I've met. I'm like, hey, I'm a rookie here. They're like, well, you're from Wisconsin. I'm like, understand, but I'm a rookie, and so I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. Yeah, it's a really cool thing.
I love it. Well, I'll get you hooked up with some people I know. They'll get you out there, especially when you get to around March, April-ish for the walleye run. That's like the time to be out there. So we'll get you hooked up with some people. I know some people. We'll get you hooked up and get you out there.
Now, somebody told me, is it like the best in the world?
Yes. Like the walleye run is, this is not a joke. Like literally, people come from all over the United States into Northwest Ohio and fish the Maumee River and go out onto Lake Erie every single year. It's the best walleye fishing anywhere. I don't fish a ton.
Okay.
The walleye run though, like I'll get out and I like to go out with some friends every once in a while, or get out and do a story on it. Like that's fun for me. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And being out on the water, especially go out on a boat or something. Like,
I'm a big boat guy. You know what's also cool about this area? I've lived obviously all around the Midwest, and people have like a lake cottage or something. Most of the places I've lived, the cottage is like 3-4 hours away.
Yeah.
So you might get out there 2 or 3 times a year. Even for some of our coaches, I mean, they're at the cottage, 15 times a year, 20 times, but they're only 45 minutes or an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, again, it goes back to like how great of a place it is to live.
Yeah, there's so many things all over the place. All right, let's transition back to your job here a little bit. So, people love to talk about the state of collegiate athletics, and people, I think, they want to make it a negative thing all the time.
Yeah.
I think college athletics is obviously in a very unique situation right now.
Yeah.
How do you view the current state of collegiate athletics?
There is not a better time to be a Division I student athlete for any sport, period, full stop. I was a very much walk-on baseball player at the University of Iowa. The experience that I had as a Division I athlete in the Big Ten is probably more similar to what a Division III athlete has now. And so what a Division I athlete has now, the resources available to them, the competition, the travel, how we prioritize academics at the University of Toledo, we have a 3.5 GPA. All 17 of our sports programs have a 3.0 GPA. Some people think, oh, it's just 2 or 3 of your sports. No, it's all 17. And so there's not a better time for our student athletes. I remember when NIL came about, and everybody said it was going to ruin it. Well, ever since then, the TV ratings are at an all-time high. College football is only second to the National Football League. Interest is at an all-time high. For you as a former journalist, like the content machine doesn't stop, right? It's 12 months of the year.
Yes.
I just want to get back to games, right?
All right, so this is all like redone down here at the docks, which is super cool. Just another one of those things about Toledo that's neat. When you come downtown and you kind of see all of this, you didn't get to see what it looked like before, but this has got to be kind of cool, right?
It's awesome. Well, and again, like we talked about earlier, it's a community that's growing, it's evolving. Like I talked about where I grew up. When I go back home, where I grew up in Milwaukee, sometimes I get a little mad because it's grown so much.
Yeah.
And to now be a part of a community that's growing rapidly, we've got great community leaders doing it. Like, it's what makes it special.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit.
Sure.
Tell us about your family.
Yeah.
You said they're in town now. What are the likes, dislikes? What do they do? What do they do for fun?
Yeah, so I've got an incredible wife in Jen. She's a dynamic business executive. She's the chief strategy officer for a nonprofit. Works remote, and so for my time demands, really good thing. We got a 4-year-old in Hayes. He's the blondest kid you'll ever see. We got a 2-year-old in Jones. I tell Coach Jacobs he's a future left guard.
All right.
He is built like an absolute tank. Very active. You can find us at the Metro Parks a ton. Yeah. We've actually come down to the docks before. Yeah. They really enjoy those things. They'll probably be a regular at the Toledo Zoo. And even though they're young, they love going to sporting events. They love it. And so, for us in this community, it's a really good thing for my wife and for my kids.
Okay, so as you've gotten into Toledo, I know you've been a part of rivalries before. What have you learned about the Toledo Bowling Green rivalry since you got here?
Rivalries, which makes college athletics special. Yeah. Been in college athletics for 20 years. A couple of schools I've worked at have great rivalries. One of them didn't really have like that normal rival. And so for us to have BG, I think it's a great thing. It's, again, what makes college athletics special. Learning more about it every single day. Want to beat them in everything we do. They want to beat us. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Let's strap it up and let's see what happens.
Okay, so one of the hot topics around these parts is Bowling Green Toledo football on a weeknight from action or on Saturdays. I have always been such a huge proponent that game needs to be on a Saturday, and I think so many are. How do you fight to make sure that happens?
Already doing it. Yeah. So we took a meaningful step this year, playing on a Friday night. Really appreciate our commissioner, the conference office. We've brought that up. and they're listening to us. The Mid-American Conference is meant to serve the membership. And so I give them credit for listening to us. I get the TV appeal. We should take some pride in that people want that to be a nationally televised game. But when you look at the attendance in the Glass Bowl, yeah, I think that should be on a Saturday in October. I'm not going to be bashful about that. Is that going to happen yesterday? No. Did I want to happen 2 weeks ago? No question about it. I'm not going to hide from that. But, being 30 days in and getting that game on a Friday night, I think was a really good step.
No, for sure. I think it's a huge win. It's very, very cool. There is a lot of talk of conference realignment.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk of, Northern Illinois leaves the MAC a year ago. What would it take for Toledo to not be part of the Mid-American Conference? Is that something that's even on your radar?
Yeah, we will always be in a conference that values comprehensive excellence. And so for us, that's football, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, our Olympic sports, academics. We value comprehensive excellence. We're not just going to go to a conference just for football. There's been some schools that have changed conferences just for basketball. And so for us being in the MAC, where there's comprehensive excellence, that's where we are today. We continue to evaluate it. That's my job, right? And if we ever feel like we're not in a conference that has comprehensive excellence and other institutions aren't pursuing that as well, where there's moments of change, there's moments of opportunity.
You talk about moments of opportunity. I have to ask you about this because it's been so big in the news this week. University of Akron put out a thing on Twitter.
It's never going to happen.
They put out a thing on Twitter to allow somebody who buys a season ticket for $75 to help map the first drive of the game. Yeah. What was your reaction as somebody that works in this space?
The amount of inbound I got for that, I was like, you think I'm going to go talk to Mike about that? I'm never going to do that. I can tell you right now, they say in this profession, don't draw lines. Yeah. That's never going to happen. Yeah, good for Joe Moore and Andrew. And Andrew's a great guy. I've gotten to know him. He's an awesome dude. That's not going to happen. Yeah.
Did you think it was wild? And how do you approach these different revenue streams and trying to generate interest? How do you approach those kind of things?
Yeah, we put all the revenue streams on the table.
Yeah.
You got to decide what the reward is, where that fits us, where our values are. Are we looking for a jersey patch sponsorship? No question about it. A naming rights partner for the Glass Bowl? Absolutely. What you've seen some other schools do is they've agreed to these deals where they receive the revenue for a year or two and then it falls off, but somebody still owns those rights. We want to experience the revenue in years 1, 2, 10, 15, 20. And so we're not going to shortchange ourselves just to get a little paycheck for 1 or 2 years. And so we're being aggressive there and searching for those opportunities, but then also just the financial arrangement, the legal arrangement. We have to think in the short term and the long term.
So as we leave the docks, we're going to head back to the University of Toledo now. When you look at the totality of the landscape of college athletics right now, what concerns you? What's the most difficult part of your job at this point?
That's a great question. We're building out a really strong approach to our finances. That's never going to win a headline.
Yeah.
I understand that. And so we have to have a multi-year plan on how we're investing, what we're investing. That builds trust with corporate partners, our donors, fans. It builds external trust and internal trust. As we go out and search for a naming rights partner for a Glass Bowl, jersey patch, really working with donors on really significant contributions, having that trust in how it's being used to impact the student athlete. Like you talked about before, all the changes going on in college athletics, the sky is not falling.
Yeah.
It is a great time. And so we need to convey that message. And so, if it's a concern of mine or leading into, it's just making sure that we have that public trust, why people should support the Rockets that already are.
Yeah.
New people should get involved. Some of the things, no disrespect to your previous career, that are read in the media, not locally, but nationally, aren't always accurate.
I understand it. Trust me, I get it. You're not saying anything I haven't heard before. I get that totally. When you talk about NIL and players being paid, how do you approach NIL? especially at this level, because you're coming from the Big Ten where you probably had a bigger budget to work with, and now you're going at the MAC level, it's a little bit different. But how do you approach name, image, and likeness in paying players?
Yeah, it's a benefit to us. And the reason why it's a benefit to us, first and foremost, the highest degree of integrity. When you have the highest degree of integrity, it impacts the locker room culture in a really great way. We honor our agreements. We have formal agreements. There's legal guidance on the institutional side. There's legal guidance and advisors for our student athletes. And having that integrity, that's a competitive advantage for us. We do it in a very sophisticated way, and we do it with a great strategy. With some of our strategy, we'll share that this fall. But, no different than, Todd Kowalczyk on how he attacks his own defense, or, what Mike Jacobs does on, third and short. We're not going to broadcast all of it, but it is a sense of strength for us, and we're going to embrace it. But just, again, continue to build that public trust on why that's a good thing. Because NIL now, in 26 and here in 27 and moving forward, it is light years better than it was for the first 4 years of name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, of course. When you start thinking about the future of the University of Toledo, what do you want to see this university become that is a big, huge goal that maybe people don't see the vision for now? Is there something out there that you're like, I want that?
We will be a large metropolitan Research One institution with high-level Division I intercollegiate athletics that provides a great degree, hands-on learning opportunities, a place where you can come and grow as a student or as a student athlete, right? Both. You can get a job here, you can start a business here, you could move here from, Pennsylvania, Michigan, wherever the place may be, and you can stay here. That's what's different about us. Or you can be, lifelong mommy guy like you, and you can go to the University of Toledo. I think that makes us unique. You can have the college experience at the University of Toledo, but then you can also have the city experience as well. And I think college athletics, we get to bring people together, the passion, the brand, the engagement. And what excites me is we're going to play a really significant role in all those different priorities to really grow the University of Toledo.
All right, I want to ask some things about you. What kind of TV shows or movies have you been watching? Do you have time to like unwind and watch anything?
Yeah, it's whatever my 4-year-old wants to watch.
So you're watching like Bluey or
whatever he
Miss
wants.
Rachel? Or...
It's what he has on the TV. Am I watching it? No. Do I discreetly pull out my iPad or do work on my phone? Yeah, I do. I don't like my kids in front of the TV a lot, whether it's taking them swimming, running around. We live on a street that's really quiet. Teach them to ride a bike, and so not a lot of TV time and movie time. Now, once sports ramps up here, love college football and basketball and all of our sports. That's what I'll watch. Don't have the patience, usually to sit down and watch a lot of movies.
Okay.
And my wife would tell you that.
Yeah, that's right. You a podcast guy?
I want to be a podcast guy. So if you got any recommendations, send them my way.
Okay.
I'm a early morning workout person. That's usually when I'll kind of throw them on with the headphones.
What's your normal day look like? What time are you waking up and working out and all those things?
Yeah, get up pretty early, like most of us do in this business. Got a little area in the basement. It's it's this room off the side of our basement. It's a dungeon, but that's what I want. Because I've thrown my weight equipment in there, some conditioning equipment in there, hit a workout. By then, the boys are usually up, so try to play with them for as long as I can. And then again, I have an awesome wife and Jen. I try to take them to school as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then, we're off and running.
Love it.
Full speed ahead.
What is your go-to meal?
Go-to meal. Another good question about Tom Moreland, whether it's meals or music, it's usually whatever anyone else wants.
Really?
And my wife would tell you this. I'm a terrible cook.
Okay.
I'm awful in the kitchen. And so I have no vote, like 0 vote. And you know what? I don't want one because I'm not very picky.
Yeah.
And so whether you want to get steak, you want to get some Thai food, Italian, you want to grab some bar food and a beer, I'm the least picky eater you've ever met in your life. It throws people off a lot because whatever Jordan wants, I'm good.
Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh. Now that is where I'll lean into something here.
Right,
now
good.
you got me thinking.
Good, I got him. All right.
Some peanut butter chocolate.
Okay.
That's got me.
Yeah.
I got a weakness for kind of the Nutella ice cream.
Okay.
But I'll go mint chocolate chip with you too. I'll do that as well. So I've got range when it comes to ice cream. Got range.
I like that. Music is not nothing particular for music for you.
I love music.
Yeah.
I love live music. I love going to concerts. I love going to shows.
What was the last concert you went to?
Oh, that's a good question. Jen and I went to a ton before kids.
Yep.
Right, we went to a ton. So we lived in Indiana. We would go down to Indianapolis all the time.
Okay.
And so we went anything from hip hop, R&B. One time we went to an electronic thing. Don't even know who it was, but just kind of went with friends because it was cool. We went to a Christmas show once. I got range on music too.
Wow.
So, and it doesn't always have to be big time.
Yeah.
Right? Something in a little spot. It's just about being around people, having fun. Yeah. In this job, you work a lot.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but to be successful in this, there's a lot of hours. And so whenever we get to be with other people, and you get to meet so many awesome people in doing what we do, going to a concert together, going to dinner, or doing something like that, I love doing those things.
My daughter's 14 and she has the most unrealistic expectations now because in the last 2 years she's been to 3 concerts in her life.
Okay.
The first one, the Eras Tour. We went to Indianapolis to see Taylor Swift.
Okay, you messed up on that.
That was the first one, and that was a completely unrealistic expectation that I set. The second one she went to, she saw Zach Bryan at the Cleveland Browns Stadium, another huge concert.
Okay.
And then we just went to see Morgan Wallen at the Big House in Ann Arbor. So she's been to 3 monster stadiums. She's never even been to a small concert where she would she wouldn't even understand what that's like.
You got to bring her to reality here.
I know.
You just hit 3 grand slams in the first inning.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know if that was a good fatherly strategy right there, George.
It probably wasn't, but it's very hard for me to say no to her. She's just,
kids do that.
I know, and she's the perfect kid. She gets great grades. She's awesome in school. She's a good kid, never in trouble. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna pick and choose our battles here. That's what she wants. We're gonna go do that. That'll be fun.
And it's what I love about live music and where I'm kind of indifferent who it is. There's great musicians. You'll throw on your Spotify and work out or drive to it. But then there's also just really cool shows.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the last shows we went to Elton John, and I remember this. He hopped on stage. We went down to Louisville. He hopped on right at 7:59 p.m. and he belted that thing out till 10:01. He took 1 2-minute break, I think he just got a little bit more water. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's how I felt going to watch Taylor Swift. You can, even if you don't love her music, to be able to watch her go for 3 hours and just the amount of work that goes into the shows and everything is exactly just immaculate. It's crazy to watch. So you can appreciate how grand and how incredible all of those things are, even if you don't love her music.
And music's changing,
Yes.
People the country now is different than it was 5 years ago,
Sure.
certainly 20 years ago.
Sure.
Right now it's got a little bit of different flavor to it. And so you just got to be open to it.
Yeah, I am very much if you go through my phone, you'll find a little bit of everything on there for sure.
When the staff hops in my car, going on a trip or see some donors and they see the Spotify list, throws them off. Throws them off. They're like, wow, didn't see that coming.
No.
But then they go and they're like, well, which genre are you? I'm like, I'm good with it.
All of it. What about Toledo maybe surprised you that you didn't know coming in?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, we talked about it, but it's real. We've got great restaurants here.
Yes. Where have you been? Yeah, where have you been?
Great sushi spot right by the walleye and the hens.
Yep.
Loved that. I've gone to Stubborn Brother way too many times. Mancey's is great. Been to several of those. There's some places around the corner that I need to check out. So where I live, it's kind of this interesting triangle. So I'm essentially on the east side of Ottawa Hills. Todd Kowalczyk's about 50 yards from my house, and then Mike Jacobs is 50 yards from my house.
Yeah.
And so it's just, people crack jokes there's the triangle right there. So we're undefeated. They're not mad at me at all, so it's good that we're all neighbors. But it is a good thing. I've been fortunate, popped over to Mike's a few times, popped over to Todd's. With obviously Mike having kids are a little older than ours, it really helps with all those things.
Yeah, that's good. Something people might not know, from every report that I have gotten, that I've gathered about you, you're one hell of a golfer. Is this true? And how did the golf game kind of develop?
So that index line, that's come from Kowalczyk. He's put that out there. The golf game used to be a lot better. You know, I used to be closer to like a 3 or 4 index. Having 2 kids now, it goes up about every month. So probably a 7 or 8 now. Being a former baseball player, it helps me, right? And so off the tee, I'm really solid there. But, you know, when you don't play as much as you used to, the short game, the putting, like that's kind of left me. And so I've managed my expectations. I have fun. Love to travel and play golf.
Where do you play?
I've played all over. I've done the overseas thing. I've done the Banded Nudes thing, Pinehurst. I mean, I've done most of the trips. Obviously, the golf here in Toledo is world class. Only played twice. Everybody gives me a hard time. She's like, I thought you were a big golfer. It's like, I am, but you guys, I didn't get hired here to play golf, right? And so now on occasion, I'm fortunate enough to get to play with some of our donors, which is, you know, you really get to know somebody on a golf course. And so
100%. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
My golf story a little bit is I got to be good friends with a college golf coach, and he took me from like a 13 down to like a 4 or 5. But then again, not playing as much, having kids, it's starting to go up pretty quickly.
What else should people know? What else do people need to know about Tom Moreland as we wrap this thing up? What do you want people to know? What kind of message do you want to be out there about what this athletic department is going to look like in the years to come?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is we're going through our town halls right now.
Yeah.
Going to be open, honest, forthright. I don't like the word transparent. It's too buzzwordy.
Yeah.
Just being open and honest, that's just Midwest Toledo values. And so always available, seeing me on game days, seeing me in public, want to build relationships, want to really get to know people on a personal level. And so if there's one thing they take away, it's, you know, it's doing things like this, you know, authentic, sincere. The only person I know how to be is myself. But for me as, you know, the athletic director, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to compete, plan on being here a long time, really, you know, entrenching ourselves in the Toledo community. But we are going to be a sense of pride for this university and community by the way we compete on the field, the way that we conduct ourselves. And while college athletics is changing quickly, we think it is a moment of opportunity for us. And we're going to be thoughtful in our approach, but we're going to be aggressive.
All right, that is it.
Cool, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, you too.